Happy Bill and Ted Day, dudes. I've known one of these in a long time, and welcome to Short Lived, where I take a look at a TV show that lasted 1 or 2 seasons. Maybe 3, depends. Although if they go to 3 seasons, I like to cover each one of the seasons, so. You know. And because today is 69, dude, Bill and Ted Day, I'm taking a look at Bill and Ted animated series from back in the early 90s. I did the live action series last year, so I figured this year I gotta do the animated series, and there's some things to discuss with this series. First of all, the animated series was made in 1990. The first one was in 1990, aired on CBS, and was produced by Hanna-Barbera. Feature the returning cast members of Alex Winter, Keanu Reeves, and George Carlin, as well as Bernie Casey playing Mr. Ryan. And I do want to mention that Peter Renaday, known for voicing Splinter and Vernon Fenwick on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, voices the dad, Ted's dad, in this animated version. The animation, as you would expect from Hanna-Barbera, is pretty good, and it sort of follows the the first films came out in 1990 before the second film came out, but time travel, they're in a booth, they go to different points in time, and they meet up with various historical figures like Mozart, who we do end up seeing in the third film, so I'm guessing this isn't canon. And Marco Polo, to which they call Mr. O Polo, because it's Bill and Ted. And I think that they have a very, it's very much Bill and Ted, the voice, just everything is very good. Of course, it's toned down from the movie versions. No swearing or anything. Like, you don't have an animated version of Bill going, "You medieval dickweed." No, it's very well done. The first season is very well done. It makes sense with time travel, going back in time, meeting historical figures of that time. The first episode was very complicated. It's like they break mom's antique China vase. So they go to antique China, where it ends up in Italy with Marco Polo, and the vase was, you win the vase. You get a vase with a Chinese food order in ancient China, or antique China, whatever, and then you get back, they break it, and Missy's like, "Oh, well, I got that with my order of Chinese food," and it's just like, okay. The whole episode was pointless then. I know it's a cartoon, but I'm just saying. And there's some other good ones, Birth of Rock and Roll, they meet Little Richard, woo! More Excellent Roman Holiday, the Romans, of course. More hints they are, the harder they fall. Model T for Ted, that has Henry Ford. Birds of a Feather, Stick to the Roof of Your Mouth. Black Knight and San Dimas, that's a good one. Going Gets Tough. Bill and Ted Are History. This set contains the first 8 episodes of Season 1. And all 8 episodes of Season 2. Now, if they were going for Best of Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, I would just put the first season. Because in 1991, the second season was released, but with some drastic changes. 1, it was now on Fox, or Fox Kids, instead of CBS. 2, the animation switched from Hanna-Barbera to DiC, which you can really tell. And no, I like DiC. I grew up with a lot of DiC cartoons. DiC cartoons like Gadget Boy and Extreme Dinosaurs and stuff like that. DiC animation is not bad. This, though, I could really tell. Like, for instance, you see this? Bill has this. In the other version, it's blue, and he's got a red collar. I don't know why Ted has orange pants here, orange shorts here because he isn't in a movie, but it's more color. And the most important, they changed the voice cast. You see, Fox was developing a live action series, which I've already reviewed. Check that out. But because they were doing that, they decided to use that cast to do the voices for the series and got rid of Keanu Reeves, Alex Winter, and George Carlin. And they were replaced by Christopher Kennedy, Evan Richards, and Rick Overton, respectively. And this version completely ignores time travel rules, and now the phone booth allows them to go into books and movies and impossible places that a time traveling phone booth should be able to go. And what? I've seen a couple of these, watching these last night. I really just was like, where did this series go? Once you get to this one, you can tell that the quality is worse. The voice acting, while trying to sound like Bill and Ted, don't. Except for Rick Overton. I feel like he does a good job with Rufus. Otherwise, that quality goes down. No, I don't hate the live action show. I actually really like it, and I appreciate like the performances they try to do. I know it's not the same, but I don't hate it by any means. This version, though, the animated version, it's clear that Fox took no consideration when putting this version together. They saw the first one and said, okay, we're going to buy this. We're going to completely change everything. We want our cast from the live action version we're going to do, and we don't care about the other cast, and we don't care about any continuity in it by changing the way the phone booth works. Which, for a show in the 90s to have it, like the first version was very much an educational show for kids. And this one, they kind of wanted to do more of that, so they added literature and movies and stuff like that, which adds a little more fun to it. But if you watch the first season, and then you're like, oh, there's a new season. Oh, it's on another channel, and you go to watch it. Even if you're not a kid, like myself, being an adult, 34 years old, and being a fan of the Bill and Ted franchise, and going, especially watching the DVDs, we had the first disc, very good quality animation, good voice acting, good stories, and you go to season 2, all of a sudden they're all over the place, different voice acting, the animation's not as good as the original, because Hanna-Barbera is top tier, let's face it, and it's just all over the place, compared to the first season. So if I was to recommend, I'd say watch episodes from the first season. It's too bad they didn't actually just put out a complete series of this, because I don't understand why they had to do best of. It's about the entire series. It could be 3 discs, and there's that. First season's on the first 2 discs. Last season's on the second disc. That's all you need to do. But we get this, which is the only DVD release of the animated series to date. They'll probably never release the live action one, as much as I wouldn't mind it. I'd buy it. Although I don't know how they would do that. Would they release the pilot with it? Probably as a special feature, right? Because you can't, as I believe I explained, it's been a year, I don't remember, in my short-lived review of the live-action series, the pilot is disconnected from the rest of the series because the pilot actually ends on a cliffhanger that's never solved. So if they were to have that as the first episode on a DVD, and then you watch that, and it cuts to the next episode where all of a sudden I think the second episode is where they go into the soap opera? No, it can't be that quick. Oh no, the actual first episode is the Nail the Conquering Hero, where he goes to medieval England, although there are no babes there. Mr. Kettleman, Mr. Keelson. It's been a while since I've watched it. Yeah, that's the first actual episode. So if you had it on DVD set and you had the pilot and you watch it, oh my god, what happens next? And then all of a sudden they ignore that and it's Mr. Keelson going to fight in medieval England. Not medieval England, Iowa, just medieval England. Yeah. So I don't know how they would do a DVD set of that. if anyone wants it. I think I'm the only one in the world that actually would want that DVD set to add to my collection, because I'm a Bill and Ted fan, but I don't think that series is bad. I don't think this series is bad. Even this second season has some good qualities, but it's a big drop from the first season. But yeah, as a whole, I do recommend watching this, both versions, because you never know. I personally prefer the first version over the second version, but if you want a little more fun, a little more wackiness, the second version might be for you. Who knows? But I do recommend it. So, what are your thoughts on Bill and Ted's Cartoon, which is what I'm going to call this episode? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one. Asian Tea.